Nacho man, yeah. I got to be a Nacho man. Got to be a Nacho man. I got to be a Nacho man.
Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and today we're going to start a three-part series on player vending. It's been out for a couple of months now, and I feel like we've had it long enough that we can make some general observations and share some advice on what I think works and what I think does not work when it comes to trying to run a business here in the Fallout world. This video, we're going to be concentrating on location. Location is important in real estate and is indeed important in any commercial enterprise. What am I talking about? Well, it's easy to start off by saying where you locate your camp is very important, but it's also important to think about where you locate your camp in regards to what it is that you're trying to sell. For example, if you have dozens of low-level plans that are cluttering up your stash box that you'd like to sell, well, you're probably going to do better selling those over in the forest near Vault 76 or Flatwoods. Players that are adventuring in this area are not likely to have those plans yet, and they are unlikely, if you had your camp, say, over in the Cranberry Bog, they are unlikely to spend the caps to fast travel all the way over to that part of the map where they know that enemies are dangerous and that players are high level, and they're probably not going to be willing to make that journey. And so if you have low level things to sell, be sure to hang out in low level areas. Conversely, if your entire stock of vending inventory is going to be bloodied weapons and two-shot explosive guns and full sets of Vanguard armor and all the good stuff that high-level players want, you are going to probably have at least marginally more success if you are hanging out in areas where high-level players are at. I will say that I don't think that you can go wrong with a centrally located camp. Somewhere in the Savage Divide seems to be pretty good. For example, there's several camps that are in this area around Top of the World within very low cost fast travel of each other, and that's another good strategy. If you can pick an area that is going to be popular or is going to have lots of other camps nearby, you are more likely to have players coming through, and the more traffic that you have, the more eyeballs that are on your merchandise, the more likely it is to sell. So another good place to set up shop is, for example, next to train stations, because players can fast travel to that train station or your camp and hit both for the same fast travel cost, essentially. And that makes your camp just a little bit more attractive and a little bit more likely to get visitors. Now, another thing to think about when you are locating your camp is spawn points. Spawn points for players are a little bit interesting, to say the least. I sure do wish that we had a fast travel target in this game, because it would make things just so much easier. I would love to be able to just have a fast travel target right here, right at the front entrance of my camp, and people could kind of experience the whole thing as I intended it. In reality, for myself at least, whenever I fast travel to my camp here, I end up in this clump of bushes right here every time. And when I see other players come in, they usually seem to be coming from down here. your fast travel spawn point in your camp is not necessarily the same as the fast travel spawn point for your customers. So, oh, I never noticed that before. I have been camped here for at least a week, and I have never noticed this roof says keep off. Awesome. Okay, so anyways, just because you spawn in a particular spot doesn't mean that's where other players spawn. I know that many players in 76 have experienced what I have, which is you spawn in the middle of somebody's foundation, and you can't move, and you can't do anything, and you just have to fast travel away again. And that annoys me enough, and may annoy another player enough, that they may not even come back and look at what you have for sale. So if you can, try to have a friend test where that spawn point is going to be for other players before you start building, so that way you can maybe avoid that particular fast travel spawn point for other players. When it comes to spawn points for enemies, that's another thing to be aware of. When I set this camp up, I did not realize that every time another player spawned in the area, that between 5 and 7 level 50 to level 70 super mutants are going to spawn in that cabin over there. It's actually why I have my vending machines turned off at the moment, because I didn't want another player to show up and have to start fighting super mutants in the middle of recording this video. And that super mutant spawn is a real problem, and probably why I'm going to be moving on from this camp here pretty quick. What it means for low-level players is that they are unlikely to even stick around long enough to look at my vending machines. If they don't necessarily realize that super mutants are going to spawn over there, what sometimes happens is that they'll be standing here looking at the first one that they come across and start getting shot, and at that point they look over, it's a high-level super mutant, and they head for the hills. They don't even stop to take a look at the rest of the merchandise, and I can't say that I blame them. Where that leaves me as the camp owner is that I have a lot of damage that I have to repair. It is a constant drain of resources fixing these turrets up here, because they are constantly under attack, because players will come when I'm not home, head for the hills, and the super mutants are left to just kind of have their way with my camp. It is, as I said, a constant drain of resources, and not what I wanted when I set this place down. So another thing to try and test when you are deciding a new camp location is try and see if there are repeat and high-level spawns right next to your camp. Unfortunately, this one, even without other players, those super mutants tend to spawn about once an hour, which is a lot. I mean, the good news is, I guess, that it's been a constant source of caps from the guns that I take off of them. But anyways, yeah, that's another thing to be aware of, is making sure that your enemy spawns are not chasing other players away from your vending machines before they have a chance to look at your wares. Last thing that I was wanting to mention was advertising. I see a lot of players do stuff like this where they will have signs around their camps that say what they're looking for or what they might have for sale that didn't fit inside their vending machines. Indeed, I have this one out front that says that I buy crap legendaries and send me a message. And what I have found is that because players tend to spawn down here and circle their way up from the back side of my camp. They end up coming up here and seeing this on the deck. The lights do help grab attention. They'll look at this, they'll look at this, they'll come look at this one, and they'll come here and realize that there aren't any more, and then boom, they fast travel away. Now, as a Fallout builder, I don't tend to do that myself. I tend to actually check out people's entire camps because I am always interested in what people are doing with their builds in the game. But I think that I am in the minority for that. So if you have something that you would like to buy or like to sell, be sure to set up advertising, but set it up in the right spot in your camp. It doesn't have to be this big billboard. This, after all, was out of the Atom Shop, and the neon letters cost something like 10,000 caps for the plans for those neon letters. Instead, use the metal letters in the wall decor menu, and you could put these pretty much right on your vending machines. I see a lot of players label the kinds of contents that are in each vending machine, but I also see players say things like plans or serums that they're looking for, or things that they have for sale that are not in their vending machine. So for that billboard to be effective, what I should probably do is move it over here and have it just facing the deck, but I am picky. I don't want to give up my view of Morgantown off of my deck, so it remains in an ineffective location, but you, on the other hand, can do better. I think that's quite enough for now. Next time we're going to cover what I think you should be putting in your vending machines. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike, please tell me why so I can try and do better for you next time. Until next time, my name is Nacho Bidness, and I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.